Finally, I have managed to get the camera to connect. I do apologise. I have no idea why it took so long today. So apologies. I am now a few minutes late, but hopefully everything is now working. I do have now a craft desk to see, which is brilliant. So I'll just move that so you can see my desk. I am using, today, before we go, I'll tell you what I'm doing today. I am using the gorgeous Boutique Blooms suite today again, as I have been for all of June and will be, and there'll be a new one next month, but we'll see how that goes. Let me just put this up here so you can see my craft desk. There we go. Yes, this is what I'm talking about, the Boutique Blooms suite. It has this lovely stamp set with these infill flowers. I'm not using those today. I'm using the flowers without the infill bit, but they're very useful. It comes with dies, and there's a lovely set of dies to go with it. And as well in the suite, you get the scalloped bloom, beautiful sentiments, and a whole set of fabulous dies. These are enormous. The biggest one is as big as this bag. Let me show you the dies, get them out and show you. They are absolutely huge. Not using the scalloped dies, but I am using one of the label dies. See what I mean about them being huge? And there are these loads of label dies as well, plus other bits for flowers and things. So this is what I'm using, and as well as the suite, it comes with some beautiful in-colour butterflies, and I'm actually going to use the in-colour dots at the moment for my thing. I'm using the new colour Hydrangea Hue, and I'm using some of the beautiful Bloom Boutique paper, which I have shown you before. It's absolutely gorgeous. So lovely. Oh, Margaret, how wonderful. Lovely to see you. I've missed you. Didn't know where you were. It's nice to see you back again. And we've all been busy, haven't we? So I'm just showing the gorgeous Bloom Boutique DSP that I'm using today. And I'm just going to make a really simple card today. It actually will make 2 cards. But I'll just move these are, by the way, I've just moved all of these, oops, I'm throwing them around now. These are all of the new in-colour blends, because I'm going to use those today. And I'm using Hydrangea Hue and Memento ink pads. And so 21 centimetres by 14.8, scored at 10.5. If you're working with US cardstock, it is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. So that is our usual card base, and I've folded and burnished that. Then we need a piece of DSP. Now this piece is just a fraction smaller than the front of the card. So I've made it 10.4. I've knocked off 0.1 of a centimetre. So 10.4 by 14.7 if you're working with A4 cardstock. If you're working with US size cardstock, then make it about 1/8 of an inch smaller. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 do as well. So those are the pieces. You also need a decent for stamping, a little pie, and some scraps for cutting out a sentiment and a sentiment tag if you want to do that. I've already actually stamped mine, thank you, with my Hydrangea Hue. So I've called it a diagonal card because that's basically what it is. No fear of that. Quite right, Margaret. Is we're actually going to mark it. So we're going to use the trimmer to do it. And I use a pencil that I can stick through the guide on the trimmer. And we're going to measure on the long sides, and we're going to mark at 6 centimetres. So that is, I'm going to mark it on the back actually, because I don't want it to show when I'm cutting it. So we're going to mark it at 6 centimetres on the long side, which means that I'm going to put the edge of my paper against the 6 centimetre mark, make sure it's properly jutted up, and then using my pencil through the guide, I can mark. So you can see in the, if you can see that. And then we're going to turn it round at exactly the same thing. US cardstock sizes, you want to measure 2.5 inches. So I'm making a pretty big pencil mark. A, so see it, and B, you're not going to see it because we're going to cut along there anyway. So to cut it, all I'm going to do is line up the edges of my pencil marks in my trimmer. Okay, so I've got the point of the pencil mark in this trimmer guide, in the line, in the cutting line, close it over, and then I can simply cut that paper, and I have 2 pieces of hydrangea hue paper, so I can make 2 cards with this particular sheet of paper, which I think is quite good. So obviously I can put one aside for later, and we will use one today. We're going to stick it across the card here. Now, this next bit is optional. If you want to do it, you can. If you don't, it doesn't matter. You don't really need this piece, but I just think it looked nice. I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape all the way along the top of the card here, and just a little bit extra because I want it to just wrap around a little bit. It's probably far too much extra, but I'm just going to pop it along there. So I'm just going to bend over this. You probably can't see it so well. Just going to put that line of tape right along there like that, turning it around the back so that you can't see it. That I will need to trim off, of course, because we don't want that bit sticking up. There we go. I'll have to trim the ribbon as well. But what I'm going to do now is just make sure that's stuck down, and then I can tear off the top of that paper. There we go. And whoops, that didn't go in the bin. And then the ribbon I can stick along. I'm being careful not to put it down now because I've just got tape on the back. So I can put the ribbon so that it goes along the edge of the tape. So I know it's nice and straight. And you can see I've got it sticking a little bit above here, which is fine. And then I can turn that down over that bit and turn this down over here. I will need to trim this ribbon because obviously if you're turning it over a card like this, it will actually stick up. So I'm just going to make myself a little mark there for where I need to trim it. And then I can trim that down to there and then fold that bit across. There we go. Just cut that last bit there. A little one, very much just an extra. You want to do that, you don't need to make the card. You could just do what we're going to do now, which is stick this directly down to our card base. I'm going to use some ordinary glue here. I'll stick that down, and because I've cut it the size of the front, that little 1 millimeter allows for the fold in the card, I can just stick it direct down. You can see it goes to the edges, so you want to stick this down to the edges, okay, like that. So I'm going to do the next stage now. One of the bits I've got is this, there it is, this little decorative bit, and it matches the pattern in the paper. And I'm just going to use a little bit of hydrangea hue and just stamp a few bits of this just to give a little bit of extra pattern on the top of this sheet. You're going to cover most of it, so you just want a few little ones dotted around. So I'm just going to do a few, some off the page, just to mix it up. There, so that's prepared our card front. So now we need to prepare all the bits for the middle, and I'm actually going to use Memento. This piece here is for die cutting using, let's get these out again, using this particular die, and cut 2 of those out of Peaceful Pine, which in the beauty of and best Blue Peter tradition, I have already done. So there are my 2 bits there. Oh, wasn't going to show you those bits yet, but I need 2 bits of those cut out. So there we have, oh, if I haven't managed to hook them together, there we go, those 2 bits. So that's what you needed your bit of Peaceful Pine for. On this piece here, we are going to stamp the outlines of the medium flower, not the biggest one, the medium one. So I'm going to stamp that one there. Then I'm going to stamp a second one of those. Make sure I've got it well inked. There. So we want 2 of those flowers. Clean the stamp as we go. I want 2 of these leaves. That wasn't very good, was it? Let's do another one of those. See if I can do it on top, and if I can't, then that's still not bad. Good. 2 of those. Then I want, with this bud, I've got a little sort of flower bud thing. It's one of the stamps in the set, and we want 2 of those. And then look at me not wasting space. You could spread it out a bit more, but hey, I don't like wasting card. And then about 3 of these little flowers, something like that. Let's totally up to you how many you use, but I find 3 is about the right number of those. There we go. Then the rest of this piece, obviously I could cut out another piece for a sentiment if I needed. And then it's all about colouring them. Now, this stamp set does have infill pieces, so you could actually use those if you want. Because we're going to put a whole load of things together here. So, oh look, there's another infilled flower. Put that over there. So we'll have 3 of these. Perhaps I'll only have 2 because I quite like that just there, and it gives me a nice piece to do something else with later. 2 or 3, whatever you want. Okay, so now we're going to colour them all in. Well, the next stage is to cut them out. Using the dies, cut all of these out. And here are some I've prepared earlier. There we go. And then we're going to stick them on. So here I have all my various bits. And now what we're going to do is just add them to the card. And my tip for these is you can shape these quite nicely. And I just use my bone folder and I can just use it behind each of the petals on the bigger flower. And it just gives it a little bit of shape, if you can see that. So I'm doing that for the bigger flower here. Then the little flowers, I'm going to put them in my palm and just use my knuckle to bend them and give them a little bit of shape that way. So we'll do that with these as well. The leaves I can also shape. And again, you can either do it in your palm and just sort of squash them and give them a little bit of shape that way. Look, I've got 4 here of these. I can use one in my other, I only did 2 on the other sheet. So for my other card, I can use one of these. I'll put one aside. I can use it with my other card. Right, so here we go. Let us try and put it all together. I feel really stressed by it all now. It's ridiculous. Then the first thing I'm going to do is actually stick these pieces on because they're quite big and I want them sort of coming out at either side. And for these, obviously they're a bit tiny to shape. You can't shape individual leaves. What you can do is just put glue on these lower ones. So I'm just putting, whoops, it's a tiny blob of glue. That's a little bit too big. But just some glue on the lower leaves and leaving the top ones more sort of open, if that makes sense, just because they will sort of float on the breeze and you can just adjust those if you needed. So just putting the glue on the lower pieces. And I'm having one going on that side and one on this side. So the only thing I need to be careful about is not sticking it over the edge, because obviously we don't want to do that. And I realise I haven't done some of my other stamping because I was going to show you. I just want to do the same stamps as before. I'm going to use on the envelope and on the inside of the card itself. So see what I mean about it coming through? Now, if you're worried about that, then stick an inside piece with a layer on, because that will then stop it if you're worried. It doesn't, to be honest, bother me too much, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. You can see on the envelope, it's just come around the edge because I've coloured right to the edge, but you can't really see it. It's come through, but it's on the inside of the envelope, so it doesn't look nearly as bad. And then all I'm doing is going to colour the centre of the flower and put a little bit more colour on, which you definitely won't see. Where did I put my hydrangea hue? There we go. Just going to put another sentiment inside. This is going to be a thank you card, so I'm going to use thank you for being there for me, which I rather like as a sentiment. So I'm just sticking that inside. So that's the inside done. Okay, let's just put this together. So it's basically, you can put these where you want. I'm going to have my 2 big flowers there. Then I'm going to have my little flowers sort of filling in any gaps that are there. So I'm going to put these on with dimensionals. Find my dimensional sheet. Oh, new sheet, look at that. It's because I used all the others. I went on a friend's coastal crafters craft retreat. It was absolutely brilliant. We had great fun. I was actually using this set, which was nice. So I'm just popping these on. So the dimension plus the curling just makes them look rather nice, I must admit. I have one at a different angle here, I think. There. And then these I'm going to stick down with glue behind. Because I'm going to put some leaves behind there as well. Probably should have done the leaves before the buds, but we'll manage. I am also going to put some dimensionals on, but we'll use the mini dimensionals because they're quite small flowers. So this is basically, you just put it together as you wish, adding them things just as you want. Right, so there is the card anyway. Hasn't fully finished yet. I should probably have had a bit more of the blue in there, but I can always add that. Stick another bit in there if I wanted. Thank you to add as well. So I'm just going to pop that down there. That's going on a couple of dimensionals. I'll use this bit from the edge here. This is the edge of my previous sheet. I always use the edge bits as well. They're always useful because nobody looks behind, so they don't know how we've used your dimensionals. So that is going on just there. I'm going to have it there actually, because I also had somewhere, oh there, I actually tied myself a bit of blue ribbon, which I'm just going to stick on with a couple of glue dots. These are some I had left over from one of the kits. They're always so useful. So I'm going to stick the ribbon on there, and I just put a couple of glue dots next to each other, and I take the tops off and have a little ribbon here. There we go. And then just to finish, a few of these little gems. So this card can be made for any particular thing you want to make it for. It can be for a birthday. It could be for, I think I'm going to put them up here to fill in this gap that I've got. Why not? So I'll have 2 up there. I'll have another one over here. Why not? There we go. Just a few. Put some here. It's totally up to you what you want to do with that. But there we go. There is my diagonal card, and I have the other piece that I cut, so I can make a second card. So that's the beautiful of those measurements, just 2.5 inches or 6 centimeters, depending on which type of cardstock you're using, and it gives you enough for 2 cards. So I'll be making a second card with that other stamping that I've done, so I won't waste it. I'll go and die cut them now. Boring watching people die cut, so and I'm not going to bother you with that bit. But there we go. So just a really simple diagonal card for you today, with the decoration inside and on the envelope. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you again very soon.